Good morning, students. Sit down, please. We have to see. So, Ajar, stand up. Tell us what date is it today, what day, and who is absent today.
Today is 20th of February, all present.
Okay. So students, today we have an unusual lesson, a show lesson, and it will be conducted in the form of the conference. The theme of our lesson is alternative sources of energy. So be active, don't be shy.
The aims of the lesson are to define alternative sources of energy, to explain the difference between them, and differentiate using of alternative sources of energy.
So your home task was to prepare different projects about alternative sources of energy. So you were given the task to select out the material, yes, to describe different sources of energy. But before checking your home task, to plunge you into the atmosphere of the lesson, we offer you to watch the video about alternative sources of energy and fulfill some tasks.
And now let's pay attention to the screen. So here you can see new words of our lesson. So I will read, and your task is to pay attention to the pronunciation and repeat after me all together. So let's start. Potential.
Potential.
Derive.
Derive.
Abundance.
Abundance.
Consume.
Consumed.
Capture.
Capture.
Availability.
Availability.
Accomplish.
Accomplish.
Install.
Install.
Turbine.
Turbine.
So pay attention to pronunciation and don't make mistakes, okay? While our lesson. And now you have the second task. You have to match the synonyms. Try to find out on the second column, yes, on the right column. So, potential. What is the synonym of this word? So, again?
Possible.
Possible, you are right, good. So, derive from, Nina, please.
Originate, come from.
Right, originate, come from. Abundance, who knows? Abundance.
Mindset.
No, you are wrong.
Plenty.
Plenty, yes. What does it mean, abundance? Изобилие, да? Okay, next, consume. Мадяр.
Use.
Use, good. Utilize, yes, use. Next, capture. Capture. Be quick. Давлет. What does it mean, capture? To take by force. So,
To manage to do, achieve.
yes, to manage to do something and to achieve. No, you're wrong. Capture.
Seize. Grab.
Yes, seize and grab. Availability. Next, availability. Not.
Access, accessibility.
Accomplish. Next, accomplish. Ajar. Accomplish.
To manage.
No. To do something. To achieve. Yes. Install. Next, install. Mount and set. In other words, we can say to fix something, yes? And the last one is turbine. What is turbine? There is one word that is left.
Wheel space.
Wheel space, of course.
And now to consolidate our new vocabulary, so read the definitions and guess what they mean. So the first one, Akniyat.
Possible but not yet actual.
Yes, it's potential. So the second one, Alimjan.
A very large quantity of something. Abundance.
Okay, abundance, Nikita.
Taken to one's possession or control by force.
So, who knows?
Consume.
No.
Capture.
Capture. Yes, capture. So next, Daulet.
Achieve or complete successfully. Accomplish.
Okay, and Madhya.
A machine or engine which uses a stream of air, gas, water or steam to turn a wheel and produce power turbine.
Okay, and now you are going to watch the video. So be very attentive. You have some questions according to the video, and after watching the video, you will answer these questions.
Solar and wind energy are well known to the public, but the true potential of these mediums remains unexpressed. Solar energy, derived from the sun, has such abundance that 1 hour of light at high noon contains more energy than what the entire world consumes in a year. If we could capture 1/100% of this energy, the world would never have to use oil, gas, or anything else. The question then is not availability, but the technology to harness it. And there are many advanced mediums today which could accomplish just that, if they were not hindered by the need to compete for market share with the established energy power structures. Then there's wind energy. Wind energy has long been denounced as weak, and due to being location-driven, impractical. This is simply not true. The U.S. Department of Energy admitted in 2007 that if wind was fully harvested in just 3 of America's 50 states, it could power the entire nation. And then there are the rather unknown mediums of tidal and wave power. Tidal power is derived from tidal shifts in the ocean. Installing turbines which capture this movement generates energy. In the United Kingdom, 42 sites are currently noted as available, forecasting that 34% of all the UK's energy could come from tidal power alone. Wave power, which extracts energy from the surface motions of the ocean, is estimated to have a global potential of up to 80,000 terawatt-hours a year. This means 50% of the entire planet's energy usage could be produced from this medium alone.
Okay, so look at the questions. So the first one, Nina?
What are the sources of energy are mentioned in the video? There are all sources of energy, wave power, solar power, wind power energy, and tidal power.
Well, okay. So the second one, Aja?
What is the solar energy derived from the sun?
Is derived
Is derived
from
from
the sun. Okay. The third one, so
What would happen if we captured 1/100 of the energy from the sun? So we won't need the other types of energy.
okay, what are the types of energy? Ethanol?
No, gas, oil, coal.
So traditional, yes.
Traditional.
Okay. So the fourth. Iljan?
What is tidal power derived from? Tidal power derived from waves of ocean.
Okay. Oceans then. Seas.
Seas.
Okay, and the fifth. So we go. Abdem?
I don't know.
You don't know? So, Islambek?
How does wave power extract energy? So the turbine will round when the wave will come.
Turbine. Yes,
Turbine.
turbine. Nargis, would you like to add?
Have the same answer.
Okay, yes. So,
Okay, so students, you were given the task to prepare your projects, yes? And now it's high time to start our conference. You know that, as Derika Martina has mentioned, today we have an unusual lesson. It will be held in the form of conference. So our presenters, Alinur and Camila, take the floor. So the floor is given to you. Let's get started.
Thank you. Good day, dear guests and participants. Today we will have a conference on theme traditional and alternative sources of energy, where we will familiarize with all of them.
Nowadays we use energy everywhere, from houses to cars to electronics. There are two types of energy production. They are traditional and alternative. Traditional production receives energy with the help of non-renewable fuel. This fuel will run out and then we will need alternative sources of energy.
Alternative sources of energy include renewable sources. They are solar, wind, geothermal, oceanic, and other sources, and we use them to get energy without fuel.
On our conference we have representatives of different countries, scientists, experts of ecological problems and solutions, the Minister of Energetics to discuss this issue. Now we will discuss alternative sources of energy separately.
And the most widespread alternative source of energy is wind energy. And the leading countries which use it are Denmark, Spain and Germany. And now our scientists will give us the general information on this theme.
Good day, dear audience and the participants of our conference. Today we will introduce you wind energy. Okay, let's start. Wind energy is the power industry specializing in the conversion of kinetic energy of air masses in atmosphere into electrical, mechanical, thermal or any other form of energy that is convenient for use in the national economy.
Such a conversation can be carried out by such units as wind generator for generating electrical energy, windmill for converting to mechanical energy, and the sail for using transport and others.
Nowadays, wind energy is referred to as renewable energy. It's a consequence of solar activity.
Unlike fossil fuels, wind energy is practically inexhaustible and more available and more environmentally friendly.
And at the present time, wind energy is a booming industry.
By the beginning of 2016, the total installed capacity of all wind generators was 432 gigawatts, and thus surpassed the total installed capacity of nuclear energy.
And some countries are especially intensively developing wind energy, particularly in Denmark, 42%, in Portugal, 27%, in Ireland, 20%, in Spain, 19%, and in Germany, 18.8%.
So, in conclusion, we would like to say that there are a lot of alternative sources, but we think that the future is in the wind energy.
Okay.
Thank you for your information. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have.
Good day, dear guests. I am the representative of European Environmental Safety. My name is Nargiz Akhmadzayeva, and I want to say that unlike thermal power, they don't emit combustion products into the air. Unlike atomic, they don't give radioactive waste. And unlike hydropower plants, they don't require flooding of areas. But the rotating blades of turbines are dangerous for birds and bats. What can you say about it?
Okay, thank you. Before the construction of these mills or turbines, we make special projects or plans that will provide safety of our environment. And what about our birds? Modern turbines has blades that rotate more slowly, and it will more safety than their predecessors.
Okay, thank you.
Good day, my name is Fatih Birol. I am the president of International Energy Agency, and first of all, thank you for your presentation. It was rather interesting information for us, and as far as I understood from your speech, you consider wind energy as the most convenient and powerful one. So what can you say about the area? What area should be covered with windmills to provide with energy one city?
So, for average city, I think 1,000 windmills will be enough, and it will be covered at about 5,000 square kilometers.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
On our conference, we have representative from Denmark, where this type of energy is developed, and he will tell you about this type of energy.
Good day, my name is Martin Wiegert. I am the Minister of Energy in Denmark. So the development of our alternative energy had started in 1917 when the oil prices was growing, and from 1976 the renewable energy had taken its beginning as a wind station, electric station. So in 1988, after the explosion of atomic station Chernobyl, totally decided to switch to alternative energy, and we made big strides in it. For example, in 2040, 41% of all energy was produced by the windmills. And in our plans, by the 2020, is to get 50% of all energy by the windmills.
Any questions?
Yes.
Good day. My name is Kevin Botsam. I'm a journalist from Mediascope TV News. During the speech you said a lot of different information about wind energy, but can people buy their own wind getting energy station, and how much will it cost?
So thank you for the question. As it's known, Denmark takes the first place by the producing of windmills, and we made different types of windmills to the individual using and to the big stations. So the price will depend on the construction of windmills. Average price is $2,000 to the one individual using, and $30,000 for the electric stations.
Thank you for information.
Thank you.
The solar energy is the cheapest energy in the world. People of different countries use this type of energy: Germany, China, Kazakhstan, and others. Now our scientists will tell you about this type of energy in detail.
Good day, dear guests and participants of our conference. For today we have prepared the information about solar energy. Let's start.
Today we want to discuss such points as you can see on the blackboard. Solar energy is radiant light and heat from the sun that is harnessed the range of available technologies such as solar heating, photovoltaics, solar thermal energy, solar architecture, molten salt power, and depends on artificial photosynthesis.
It is an important source of energy, and its technologies are broadly characterized as either passive solar or active solar, depending on how they capture or distribute solar energy or designing spaces that naturally circulate the air.
Active solar techniques include the use of photovoltaic systems, concentrated solar power, and solar water heating to harness the energy.
Passive solar techniques include orienting a building to the sun, selecting materials with favorable thermal mass or light dispersing properties, and designing spaces that naturally circulate air. On this slide, you can see the advantages of solar energy. From the scientist's point of view, the solar energy will be accessible to us as long as we have the sun, and it will be available to us for at least 5 billion years.
Solar energy more available than minerals needed to generate electricity.
As a rule, solar energy systems don't require a lot of maintenance. You only need to keep them relatively clean, and cleaning them a couple of times per year will do the job.
Technology in the solar power industry is constantly advancing and will intensify in the future.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you for information about sun energy, but there is one question. Does the solar getting energy panels have the resistance to the sun rays?
As you know, solar panels are made from highly qualified material, and thus these solar panels will protect from burning out on the sun.
Thank you.
Good day. Firstly, Thank you for your presentation. My name is Ramazan Selimgadinov. I'm a journalist from Khabar. My question is the solar energy suitable for every country or not?
We recommend to use solar energy in hot and multiple climates.
To provide a significant amount of electrical energy, solar power plants require a large structure of land. Some places, such as the state of California, has deserts with plenty of space and sunshine, but these areas are also natural habitats of animals. What can you do not to disturb them?
Nowadays, solar panels with smaller size are developed, and also panels are being installed on the special stands above the ground to protect flora and fauna.
Thank you.
Thank you. On our conference, we have representative from Germany, and he will tell you about this type of energy.
Good day, dear guests and participants. My name is Peter Altmaier. I'm a Minister of Energy of Germany, and the most commonly known fact about solar energy is that it represents a clean green source of energy, and solar power is a great way to reduce your carbon footprint. Also, as is known, solar energy doesn't pollute Mother Nature. And the last but not least is that solar energy can use underutilized lands.
Good day, dear guests, participants. My name is Bozumbai Kanat. I am the Prime Minister of Energy in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Nowadays, alternative energy is quite widespread. In Kazakhstan, chief amount of village people more often use solar batteries and panels, especially in Kostanay and Abay regions. Also for Expo 2017, government of our country spent at about $30 million on solar batteries and panels, and $50 million on windmills. Moreover, in our megalopolis such as Astana, Shymkent and Almaty, alternative energy has been used for several years. There is no doubt that we aren't in the list of the leader on using alternative energy, but I hope that in the future we will be in the top 10. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this useful information. You may sit down.
Let's go on. Biofuels are most useful in liquid or gas state because they are easier to transport, to live in, and burn cleanly. That is why utilizing of them has increased. And now our scientists will give us general information on this scene.
Okay, good day, dear audience. We all know that fossil fuels like coal and petroleum are the most common sources of energy. And by the way, fossil fuels are non-renewable sources. It means that one day we will run out of them. And we find the decision of this problem is biofuel. Okay,
Bioenergy is energy derived from biofuels. Biofuels are fuels which produced directly or indirectly from animal waste, biomass, and nowadays bioenergy covers approximately 10% of the total demand. And in developing countries, people use wood, charcoal, and animal dung for cooking and heating.
Okay, so what about types of fuels? There are three types of biofuels. The first is liquid, which is used in internal combustion engines. They are bioethanol, methanol, biodiesel. The second is gaseous, which they are synthesis gas, biogas, which used in different productivity.
Nowadays, oil demand amounts to about 4,000 million tons of oil equivalent, while the production of oil liquid biofuels amounts to 36 million tons of oil equivalent, representing representing less than 1% of this world demand. And around 85% of the liquid biofuels are produced in the form of bioethanol, and the main producers being Brazil to the USA. In conclusion, we want to say that biofuels, that there are lots of alternative energy, and the biofuels is the best way for getting energy. And in the future, we hope that we will use biofuel.
Thank you for information. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. It was quite colorful. And I want to say that plastic, some artificial materials, and other necessary things are made from petroleum products, and can biofuel replace them?
Yes, thank you for the question. Biofuel, due to biofuel, we can produce the plastic and different other things because they have the same composition like fossil fuels.
Thank you.
Good day, thank you for your presentation. Of course, biofuel is quite good, but what can you say about its efficiency in comparison with traditional energy resources? For example, coal. Its heating power about 7,000 kilocalories per kilogram. And what about biofuel in this case?
Okay, also biofuels can be used directly as a raw material for producing heat, and like products like cotton and wood give equal heating power like coal and petroleum.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Okay, any other questions?
First of all, thank you for your speech, but as I understand, biofuel is closely connected with plants and also animals. And as a scientist, you should understand that it can cause huge problems with area for plants growing. And because it can cause soil fatigue. And my question is, how will you save the area for plants growing?
To avoid fossil fatigue, our laboratory created new special chemical solution to protect our sources.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for giving us so interesting information. Do you think biofuel can become the main sources of energy, replacing atomic and other?
As Arman has said, fossil fuels are not renewable sources of energy, and one day we'll run out of them. We can receive bioenergy from almost all plants.
I have a question. So you have mentioned only about advantages, yes, of biofuel, but what can you say about drawbacks of this type of fuel?
Also, we have disadvantages of this biofuel, of this fuel, because not every country can use biofuel, because different countries has different climate and areas which not profitable for them.
And as it was mentioned by them, we listened that USA takes the first place of using it, and in our conference we have a representative from the USA, and let's give him a word.
Thank you. My name is Scott Tipton. I represent our US Congress, and according to statistic of energy information, in 50% of states in our country, renewable energy sources like biofuels produce more energy than nuclear power plants. As was mentioned before, we take the first place because it's very cheap and very easy to producing this type of energy. From the use of nuclear power plants, already abundant such states like Colorado, Marine, and many others. The main source of energy in the USA is still coal, nuclear power plants, but we hope that in the future we will use only renewable energy sources. Thank you.
Okay.
Good day, my name is Li Ketan. I'm the representative of China, and I have a question to Scott Tipton. What plants do you use to get biofuel?
Thank you for your question. We use corn, soybean, and cotton.
May I? Hello everyone, my name is Fernando Bezerra and I am Minister of Energy of Brazil. As it was mentioned before, our country takes the second place, and there are two reasons why we use biofuels. The first is we don't have oil at all, and the second is we have a lot of sugarcane. And we have changed petroleum to biofuel for about 57%, and also we want to change it in the world because we have such opportunities to influence on the world market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It was rather interesting. You may see.
At the present time, people start to use almost all natural processes to receive energy. For example, wave and tidal energy. Now our scientists will tell you about this type of energy.
Good day, dear guests and participants. Now we would like to tell you about tidal and wave energy, give you some information about advantages of these two types of energy.
First of all, we can say that both tidal and wave energies are the same, but there are some differences.
Tides are defined as rise and fall of sea level caused by gravitational pull of the moon and the sun of the earth.
Wave energy, also known as ocean energy, which is defined as energy harnesses from oceanic waves when the wind blows across the surface, so it creates waves.
And there are some advantages of tidal energy.
First of all, it's an inexhaustible source of energy.
This type of energy is environment friendly and doesn't produce any greenhouse gases.
It's very widespread because about 71% of the Earth's crust is covered by water.
We can predict fall and rise as they follow cyclic fashion.
Efficiency of this energy is more than other sources of energy as wind energy and solar energy. Efficiency of this energy is around 80%. Also, advantages of wave energy.
It is renewable.
Also, it's environment friendly.
Easily predictable.
Also, there are a lot of ways to harness.
And no damage to land.
So, in conclusion, we would like to say that nowadays it's not very widespread, but in the future we hope that it will have a great application. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you for the information. Are you sure that massive dams and turbines are not affect the livelihoods of marine organisms?
Yes, according to statistics of scientists, we know that advantages of wave and tidal energy is that they don't have any influences to live organisms and they have no damage to land.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you for the information about tidal and wave energy. To me, it was rather interesting because 70% of the Earth is covered by the oceans and seas. But as we all know that people throw a lot of rubbish into the seas and oceans, and what you will do if some of them will get into the infrastructure of one of them.
So we have special devices that for protection our constructions. If you can see on this screen, you may see. So we have special devices, and we know that everything can happen, but we can fix it because it's rather cheap to fix.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. Before I will ask you my question, I'd like to notice one disadvantage of this type of energy resource. It is that country or city should be located in close proximity to the sea or ocean. Not every country or city have such opportunity, so let's go to my question. What country gets much more profit among other countries in this type of energy resource? I mean, where is located the biggest such station?
The biggest station is located in South Korea, and the first one is situated in France.
Okay, thank you.
On our conference, we have representative from South Korea, where this type of energy is very popular.
Okay, good day, representatives, good day, guests. My name is Yakawa Tamagoshi, and I'm a Minister of Energy in South Korea. I support your system because we are using tidal and wave energy too, and I can say that, of course, it is very expensive to install, but very cheap for use. Thank you for attention.
And it's our representative from France.
Good day, dear guests and participants. I am Ms. Ségolène Royal, Minister of Ecology and Energy in France. And as you know, France is a country where tidal power was first used, and I think it was a big breakthrough in the field of alternative energy. It's not a secret that our tidal power station is very popular in our country, and we have the biggest one in the world. But also we use windmills and solar panels, but we get a small part of energy from these sources. But it's just beginning, and I hope that we will develop in this sphere. Thank you.
Thank you for this information.
Thank you for your participation. We think that it's high time to conclude. To sum up, we'd like to say that we use fuels to get energy, and it has a great influence on the environment and leads to their exhaustion. And therefore, people start using alternative sources of energy to reduce these problems.
So we should develop these sources of energy because it's our future. Thank you.
So thanks, students, for your wonderful presentations, for your conference. We see that you have done great job. So, but you have some tasks according to your conference. Look at your worksheets. So there is a task. There is a table. So you should write the advantages and disadvantages of each type of energy. You have 3 minutes to complete this table. So, are you ready? Let's check. Okay. So, the first one is wind power, yes? What are the advantages of wind energy? So, any volunteers? Raise your hands. So, Norbert, what are the advantages? Just one advantage.
It's renewable, and also it has a lot of uses in countries of the world.
Okay, so Nina? Speak louder.
The first is, I think it's cheap and it protects the environment.
Okay, Ramazan?
It's simple and using.
Okay.
Disadvantages is...
No, just advantages. So, other, Amir? Anorbe?
Getting a lot of energy.
Okay. Dawlet?
I think everything.
Everything is mentioned. So, and what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages. So, Ramazan?
Takes big ideas.
Okay. Nikita?
I think it's not stability.
So, why?
it's good type of energy in the area there is stability. Good.
Do you mean climate?
Yes.
So, Adlian.
As it was mentioned before, the necessity of luxury.
Okay. Ajat?
I said disadvantages, I can say that it's expensive. I
Yes,
mean
it's
that
very expensive.
construction of these mills take more money than another side.
Okay. So, next, solar power. So, what are the advantages?
It is the cheapest one.
Okay, it is the cheapest one. So, other students?
Solar energy can be used in villages, and it's very big plus for money.
Okay, and
For example, in Kazakhstan, in Abai and Kostanay regions, the village people more often use especially solar energy.
so, and they can use solar
Yes.
panels at their homes, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Arman?
It will be available during the wartime, about 55 billion of this.
Okay, Alimjan?
It takes very slowly.
Okay, Adlian?
Small solar panels can be situated on the rooftops, not taking free space.
Ramazan?
We don't do something. We just take it from sun energy.
So we don't waste money just for panels, yes, solar
Yes.
panels. Okay.
Solar energy don't pollute air, flora and fauna.
Yes, it doesn't pollute. Okay, and what about the disadvantages?
You can't use it everywhere.
Okay, what do you mean?
It means that you can use it only in hot
Countries, yes? Countries with a hot climate, okay. So, Islamбек, Елжан.
I think it's only one disadvantage.
Okay, Ramazan?
Maybe it takes bigger risks too.
Okay. So, Nargis is an ecologist.
They can't give enough energy to provide the great industry.
Ahmed, would you like to add? It's expensive. So, but your group mate has said that it's the cheapest one.
It's expensive to install.
It's expensive to install, but it's cheap to use it, okay? So, Camila, would you like to add?
It is business for the country, it is only for suitable countries with suitable countries.
I can add that it's used in the moderate climate, in the countries with a moderate climate, but it's temporary.
It's temporary. Okay, so and what are the disadvantages? Okay, and what about the succession of day and night? Can we use solar energy during at night? So it's one of the disadvantages. Okay.
Now let's go further. So you have two more sources of energy, such as biofuel and tidal energy. So what can you say about advantages, about pros of biofuel? So again, please.
Biofuel gives equal heating power as coal.
Okay, so you may replace, yes?
Yes.
Okay, any other answers,
We
please?
can get heat from everything.
Everything. So you may use different kinds of vegetable matter, yes? Okay, good of you. Any other questions?
Composition similar to the oil.
According to composition. Good, great. So, any other answers? I don't know, what can you add?
It's usually used as gas and liquid state, and it's easy to transfer to it.
Easy to transfer. Okay, so for example, we can say as an example in Brazil, yes? They don't have any opportunities to have their traditional sources of energy. And in this case, they can use it and transport to different countries. So on the last one, Timilan, you please.
We can get biofuel from any remains of plants or animals.
Right. Now let's speak about cons. So what can you say about the drawbacks Drawbacks. Please, Dosan.
So it takes a big territory for growing plant.
Okay, big territory. And what can you say about the season? Is it appropriate for all seasons? Okay. So we can't. Okay, grow it in winter.
Yes.
Okay. So what else? Any other drawbacks? No ideas?
As it was mentioned, USA and Brazil takes leading places, and they produce more about 80% of this energy. And I think it's not so popular. Maybe it's because of the climate.
Because of climate. Okay. So let's take the second. Any additions? Do you have any additions? No ideas. So let's take the last one. It's tidal energy. What about advantages of tidal energy? What have you written?
It isn't harmful for inhabitants of the seas and oceans.
Okay. So you please.
Quite cheap to use.
Quite cheap. But what can you say about installing? Is it cheap to install? First of all, you have to pay much money, yes, to install it, and later you will don't spend your money. Okay. Any other ideas? You please be active, students.
We can set tidal energy station a lot because there is more ocean, seas.
There are many.
Yes.
Okay. So as you have mentioned, it covers 70%, yes, of the Earth. Okay.
Tidal energy gives quite stable energy because it is stable.
It is stable. Stability. Okay. So point out stability. Any other ideas? What can you add? I don't know. You please.
It does not pollute the water. I mean, the area of the using of this, it just waves capture the turbines to move.
Turbines to move. Okay. And what about disadvantages of tidal energy? Disadvantages. So,
Disadvantages, it's not suitable for all countries because this kind of energy can use only countries that situated near the sea or oceans.
Okay, which are situated, okay.
It can be broken by rubbish.
By rubbish. Okay. So,
long-term using of the turbines can stop the natural geological process.
Okay. So, what geological processes can you mention in this case?
I think that there may be some states.
Okay. So, any other answers? Is it all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your task. Thank you for your participation. So, now let's go further. Today we finish our unit, that we have taken it during 6 lessons, yes. And today is the last lesson and we have to check your knowledge, yes. And now we suggest you doing the following test, it's a Kahoot test. So for this reason you need your mobile phones, switch on the mobile phones and application of it. Okay, you can see the password, enter it. Let's start. So for this test you have 5 minutes, and this way you should do everything properly and very fast. So,
but please use your real names. Okay, maybe you will work in groups?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Join the groups, the first group, the second one, the third, the fourth, the fifth. Are you together? Okay, you may join students. Come here, come closer.
So are you ready? Okay, let's start. sources of energy, and his team was the first. Okay, good. Sources of energy. I will offer you to express your opinion. Are you against or for alternative sources of energy? Just stand up and express your opinion. So, my dear, are you for or against of application?
I think I'm for using alternative sources of energy because nowadays technologies are developed every year, and in the future alternative sources of energy will be widespread everywhere on the beaches.
Okay, Nargis, what about you?
I'm against of alternative sources of energy because anyway there will be any influence on the natural processes of the earth.
Okay, Daulet.
I'm for these types of energy. I think that we should use, for example, 2 types or more because the only one type isn't available for every region. For example, we should use tidal energy for the countries where that are near to the sea, and solar energy to the hot countries.
So, are you for or against?
For.
Okay. So, other students again?
I, as a future geologist, against of such types of energy resources because if we would forget about fossil fuels, for example, the whole part of science geology would be closed in this case. So I think that we shouldn't forget about coal, oil and gas. Thank you.
Okay, Alinu?
I disagree with Adrian's decision. I am for alternative source of energy because, as we know, the fuels will run out in the future and we need alternative source of energy. And I think it's time to develop and learn about these sources.
Okay. And according to your answers, we see that alternative sources of energies have more advantages than disadvantages, and we should develop them, yes? Okay. And your home task for the next lesson will be to write an essay about alternative sources of energy. What is the most efficient type of alternative energy for you? Okay?
Okay, students, thank you for your participation, for your projects and your opinions. And today you have done a great job, and that is why you will be estimated in this way. So the following students as Alinur, Kamila, Ajar, Timirlan, Adrian, Nargis, Nikita, Islambek, Anuarbek, Madhyar, Ksenia, Daulet. So your marks for the lesson are excellent marks. And such students as Yeljan, Nina, Ramazan, Alimjan, Nurbolat, Rahat, Amir, Arman, Akhniyet, Doshan, your marks are good. So we just recommend you to be more active next time to get excellent marks. Okay? So thank you. The lesson is over. Goodbye.